Alright, we're back on gaming. You know what? This is 2 weeks in a row now that we've had to deal with companies trying to screw you. That's right. That's what most of this is. Trying to screw you. Not to mention, okay, developers going batshit crazy. And then not to mention also the community at some point now, like I said before, you want to act like sheep, you want to act like drones, and now you're proving me right. Well, I shouldn't say just me, but a number of people right now. So, let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with developers going batshit crazy. Can we start with that? Okay. Developer Badfly Interactive attempts to blackball media outlets, that's right, if they give them negative reviews. They are sitting around and threatening them that they won't give them any Steam keys. Ooh, not get any Steam keys. But this is what they're saying. So if you give them negative reviews, they're going to pretty much blackball you. Now here's the thing, okay? If your game is bad, it deserves it. But if we look at the state of gaming media, I can understand why developers are taking somewhat of a stance on this. You gotta think, this is their livelihood, right? So, to put such a hard blackball on something like that and say, we're not going to give you this, we're not going to give you that, it's almost out of paranoia, I feel. Because if you look, like I said, we've talked about this before, when you're seeing gaming media knock down points just because, well, this character is a misogynist or whatever, or I don't like the character designs, and the women are too voluptuous looking, that's bullshit. You can't just knock down points for that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, let's be honest here, alright? When it comes to game reviews, they are still opinions. That's what they are. You have to understand that a lot of these people don't even play these games. And we saw that with Polygon not too long ago when they tried to play Doom. So you can't take their word for it. This is one of those things that happens. I feel as though developers, because they're in such a paranoia, I don't think this is the right way to go about it. I don't. Just to come out and be like, we're going to blackball anybody, any gaming media. You know what? That's going to turn fans to say, you know what? You guys are getting a little bit too extreme, and if I feel as though your game is negative, I'm definitely going to leave a comment, and you know what I mean, a negative comment on your Steam page, you know what I mean, or something like that. It's almost like a double-edged sword. It's almost like a 50-50. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You know what I mean? When it comes to those type of situations in developers. So I really feel bad for them, but if you do put out a bad game, then guess what? You deserve criticism. You deserve that negative criticism. And just to go around and blame it on media, look, we can blame media on a lot of things, but if a bad game is a bad game, then we can always chalk that up. Spade is a spade. You know what I mean? So, I'm like this. You make good games, you won't have to worry about it, right? Right? Okay. Now, let's move on to more batshit crazy. Alright? Randy Pitchford. That's right. Who is just begging for attention these days, because as we know, Battleborn isn't selling at all. Matter of fact, it's pretty much DOA. You might as well just call it. It's dead in the water. It is. It's done, as far as I'm concerned. But his way to combat the popularity of Overwatch was to promote porn links of Battleborn. What the hell was he thinking? You know, I should make a new segment for this video called, What the hell's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? And that's what the hell's wrong with you, Randy Pitchford? I don't understand this. Like, you've got to be kidding me if you thought this was the best way to go about combating Overwatch popularity to draw back people to pay attention to Battleborn. What? And there's more. There's more on this guy, alright? It's just, this guy's off his rocker. I don't understand him. He comes out and says that don't expect Borderlands 3 on the Switch. Now, here's the thing, Randy Pitchford. After what you've done in the previous couple of years, alright? I mean, we're seeing that you got to post porn to get attention for your game. I mean, you came up with that horrible Gamergate song. You've always trashed people online, and you talked about how you want to, you agreed to, you know, that there should be a system where you can block certain people from playing your game, yet you want attention for your games. And let's not forget, okay, aliens, colonial marines. So, what the hell would make you think that anybody would want to spend any money on your games? When you're doing all these things, you're going to tell me you have zero self-reflection. That's what you're going to say. You're not going to look back and say, okay, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. Maybe I need to tone it down a bit. Maybe I need to calm the hell down. There's obviously something wrong with me. I'm taking this way too seriously, or I'm going too far. Maybe you think that. No. For an adult like Randy, no, I guess not. That's pretty sad. Like I said, don't care if Borderlands 3 is coming to the Switch. I don't care what game you make. At this point, I don't care. After what you've done in the past, you've shown that you have no type of connection with gamers. It shows that you're all about yourself, and that you'll stoop as low as to doing Rule 34, promoting Rule 34 stuff for your game. But here's the thing. It's funny, because it seems like you found out that, the creator of Nier Automata, when that type of stuff was going on just a week ago, and he was like, instead of just, getting out there and being offended by it, why don't we just all put it in one collaborative, folder, and then release it every week? You know what I mean? Because he was trying to promote his game. It seems like you're trying to take a page out of his book, but you were already too late to the game. That's what it seems like. Let's be honest here. So, Randy, it's pretty sad that you would do this. It's one thing for an upcoming game. I think that's the difference. An upcoming game like Nier Automata that's actually really awesome, as opposed to Battleborn. That's been dead for how long? Yeah. You missed the boat on that one. Anyways, let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about the FGC. Let's talk about the company's milking, shall we? Let's talk about Guilty Gear. That's right. Was it Revelator 2? That's right. DLC's coming too, and it seems like a lot of people are very upset about this because, and it's understandable, because if you think about it, people have been asking Arxis for years to stop milking the shit out of them. Have they not? We've talked about this in the comment section, about how companies milk. Now, what do I say? Look at the Arxis fans. Talk to them. You want to talk about milking? Talk to them. They were always upset that they were always being used and abused this way. And now here we go again with Guilty Gear, Revelator, Zerd 2, whatever you want to call it. All right? People are upset. I've seen it all over the internet. I've seen people say they're done. I've seen people say they've quit. They're done supporting it. It's a little different than what we saw with BlazBlue, because as we know, we've talked about before, the creator of BlazBlue is moving on to something different and has decided to stop BlazBlue. He's not doing it anymore. He's going to make a different game. He's tired of it. You know what I mean? The milking. So, for Guilty Gear to do this, this is going to piss off a lot of fans, but I'm sure there are fans out there who are going to be behind this regardless, because you have to stay in the up-and-coming thing. Once again, you got to stay in the cool club, because if you don't get the newest thing, you can't stay competitive, or you can't be popular. Right? You don't want to be left behind. You got to keep up with the Joneses. And that's what we're going to talk about right now, which is absolutely disgusting for what I've seen. Injustice 2. Let's get on it. Injustice 2. As you know, the Injustice 2 trailer was brought out, and you know what? Trailer wasn't that bad, full CG, whatever. I don't have a problem with it, There's a couple things I've seen people say about it, about Power Girl, Supergirl's outfit, whatever. Anyways, alright? Injustice 2 trailer didn't look too bad. And then they hit us with the biggest fuck you ever, which was the DLC that's coming with it. So, if you buy the regular version, you get nothing. You buy the deluxe version, you get 3 DLC characters, right? If you buy the ultimate version, you get 9 DLC characters. Now look, this is the problem we've always talked about with DLC and season passes. We'll talk about that later, okay? But when characters are clearly finished, 9 DLC, you're hiding 9 DLC. You know how much of a roster that is? 9 DLC characters you are hiding behind a paywall if they decide they don't want to buy the Ultimate Edition. Are you serious? They're already on the disc. All you pretty much have to do is you're paying to unlock them. That's what you're doing, alright? That's what's going on. That's what WB is handing you right now. 9 DLC characters, Day 1, hiding behind a paywall, but that's not all. No. When you pre-order, you can also get Darkseid. This is seriously what you're doing, WB. Seriously. Now, I put it like this, alright? As you know, how these games go, especially with NetherRealm, you know they're going to come out with a definitive edition, or a Game of the Year edition. Just wait. You are handicapping, and it's sad because the NRS community doesn't deserve this. But you know they're going to support it because they want, like I said, the newest, the best thing. And it kind of hurts everything. Look, if you get tired of being milked, you're going to have to send a message where you stop supporting it. You see it with the Arxis community. Look, you can only say it for so many times, year after year after year. Because that's what's happened. We've told the companies, please stop milking us. Please stop trying to get us for every nickel and dime. And the companies haven't listened. What to tell you, the companies, they don't care about the community whatsoever. Like I said, they see you as a number. They just see you as a unit sold. That's all they see you as. They are not your friends. Okay? Let's get that straight. Again, for years been saying this. But for WB to pull something like this, given their track record, what happened with MKX, alright? Given their track record, what happened with the Batman series, like, they don't care about consumers at all. They don't care about you. And now they're pulling this again. Because they know that you'll go after it. Because who doesn't want superheroes fighting each other? And Injustice 1 was pretty damn good. So, of course, this is what you'll have to deal with. Like I said, Game of the Year edition. You're literally handicapping yourselves at this point. And you know the tournaments are going to come for this. And if the tournaments, the people who run these TOs, if they comply with it, then players will definitely buy it. But I put it like this. If people aren't running tournaments, like hardcore tournaments for this, not many people will buy it. Not many. We saw what happened with Injustice 1, right? Had tournaments, was doing good. Mortal Kombat came, see Injustice. That's what happened. It went away really quickly. Now, because of this, announcement, I'm sure there are people who are going to start playing Injustice again. But the fact that this is happening, it's absolutely disgusting. But you still have your fans who are supporting this, who are so hyped to pay for DLC characters. No sense, no feeling whatsoever. Buy, consume. Don't think about anything, right? You're hyped for DLC characters. You're hyped for pre-order characters. Characters that are already supposed to be in the game, that they're just you're paying for. Pre-order, that's the incentive to pre-order? That's all you got? Really? To hide a character behind a paywall. We saw the big backlash over Goro when this happened with Mortal Kombat. Now they're doing it again. You've got to be kidding me. There has to be a way to unlock these people. Like, the way games are built these days, when it comes to DLC, microtransactions, and season passes, completely bastardize what games used to be. Putting in your hard work, earning your stuff. As you know, with Mortal Kombat at one point, you could earn your stuff. You know what I mean? You could earn those those variations, not variations. You can earn the outfits and stuff like that if you put the work in. You know what I mean? And what did WB do, or should I say NetherRealm did? What did they do? They were just like, well, if you don't want to put in the hard work, just pay X amount of dollars flat here, and you can unlock it all. For the lazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's what it is. You have to understand, this is why they become microwave games when you give them that option. And yes, it is an option. But to give them that option, it says that, hey, look, I don't have to work for anything anymore, and it means I get it right there, instant gratification, right away, almost to the borderline entitlement, because you are paying for it, okay? Borderline. But understand that once you get that stuff right away, it almost takes away the value. Because you're like, okay, compared to a person who works hard, it's like, okay, it took me a long time to get this stuff. I can enjoy it later down the line because it took them so long, as opposed to a guy that got it right away and was like, by the time that other person who worked hard to get it, I'm tired of this. I'm trading gaming. You're handicapping yourselves every time. We're not even talking about flooding the market. We've talked about that before. And how it just drowns out your other games. But for longevity, the answer isn't keep hitting them with DLC, keep hitting them with season passes. It's let them work hard to build up to what they can get. And then later down the line, you can release more stuff. And it gives it even more longevity. But you're not doing that now, are you? No, it's got to be right now. Right here. Right now. I don't understand that. The companies literally are hurting themselves this way. And the fans are just eating it up. Literally, they're eating it up. I don't understand it. I really don't. Let's move on about more milking, shall we? Now, in this situation, we have Ultra Street Fighter 2 that's coming to the Nintendo Switch. Okay? Now, I guess I can't get too much on Ultra Street Fighter 2 because it's on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if this is going to be an exclusive. We don't know if it's going to hit the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One or the PS3 or 360. If it does hit those things, then you know what? Then it is milking because there's no point to it. But if it's exclusively for the Nintendo Switch, okay, it doesn't have a fighting game. We will talk about the Nintendo Switch in a bit. But for those who have not seen the way people are playing this Ultra Street Fighter 2, because as we know, it's going to have an add-on for an arcade stick, which I have big questions about that, because, I mean, seriously, is it only that specific arcade stick that's being made, or will it support other arcade sticks that's already, in the past or whatever? That's a big question that needs to be answered. But when I saw these two guys playing Ultra Street Fighter 2, they're using those two little controls, and they look so awkward playing it. And you can tell that they need a competent controller to play Ultra Street Fighter 2. You can see it. You can't sit there like this big space between your hands and you're doing like this to play Ken and Ryu. No, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work that way. They tried. God bless them. They tried. But it was that's just horrible. It's horrible. All right? It's not thinking outside the box. It's not innovative. It's just cumbersome and it's difficult for people to adapt to. That's what it is. Give them a fight stick or give them an actual controller. Oh, I guess the Pro Controller, I guess you could say, for what, 70, 80 bucks? Like I said, we'll talk about Nintendo Switch in a bit. We will. But you have to understand that Ultra Street Fighter 2 right now, it's hit and miss for me right now, for what I've seen. Alright? But let's move on. Let's talk about Capcom stupidity, shall we? Let's talk about it, alright? Because you guys and girls sent me this stuff, and I didn't believe it at first. Rockaway Carver was like, can you believe this? And I'm like, what? What are you talking? I need to see a link. And then the link came down. I was like, oh my god. I literally, when I got on my seat, I was like, oh my god. I can't believe Capcom did this. I didn't think that Capcom would be this damn stupid. I just didn't think they would. But apparently they are, okay? Capcom scrapped Street Fighter Alpha 3 HD, right? Because there wasn't a tournament scene for Alpha. Oh God! Oh, my heart! You go, oh God! Look! Oh God! Oh God! You can't be this stupid, okay? And when this article came down, we talked about on Twitter, you guys and girls had a number of things to say, which actually made sense, which was common sense as opposed to their decision. It makes no sense to sit here. Look. You guys and girls said, so at the time, you got rid of a relatively new game to go back to a game from 1992, to remake a game from 1992, because you want to talk about the tournament scene in 1992. Like I said, my first tournament, Street Fighter tournament, I won in Florida, was off of Super Street Fighter 2, okay? So, for me, it was like, okay, I can understand the tournament scene for that, but to say that Alpha 3 didn't have a tournament scene, when to this day, people are still playing Alpha 3, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. It's just, come on, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And then to say, well, if you look at the roster size, and I'll put the link in the info bar for the entire interview, but if you look at the roster size, it would have been a large game and it would have took more to do. So now we're complaining about size? Is that what we're doing here? At a time where people were complaining at one point, all right, that there weren't enough characters in games. At a time, even in Street Fighter V, where we see time and time again, slowly but surely, they feed you characters, right? At a time, during that time, where you were given large rosters, and that's what the fans love, more diversity. And for you to complain about it being too large of a game, too large, it would have been more development time. And as long as you do it right, people will appreciate it. Especially if you push a tournament scene for it, which would make it even better. It would have, keyword here, again people, longevity. You had no problem doing it with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? How long that shit been going on when it comes to tournament time? Matter of fact, you're bringing that shit back HD, for the newer consoles, and you about to give them another version of it. But we're going to talk about development time. We're going to talk about too large of a roster. Are you fucking serious? Get fired. Get fired. How do you still have your job? I don't understand this. How do you make such comments and still keep your job? And then Capcom wonders why, they're doing so bad, but yet they want to say that they want to be the #1 developer in the world when you're making these type of... Okay. Oh my God. Y'all got to be kidding me today, man. This is just... That news, it killed me. It killed me. I was like, you got to be kidding. But there's more news. There's more news, all right? We're going to stay on Street Fighter 5, and this is something that needs to be addressed, okay? Player scams their way to the top of the Street Fighter 5 online leaderboards. And there's a video, I put a link in the info bar, a video of it actually happening in real time when it happens. Yeah. So let me get this straight. We've talked about this before just last week about Street Fighter 5 and all the problems it was having. And it's almost been out for a year now, right? And you're still having these type of problems. We broke that down last week. It seems like some number of people didn't like that. But this week, you're going to tell me, okay, that you almost been out for a year. And you actually had a campaign to stop rage quitters and cheaters in general. Let's not forget that, all right? Capcom wanted you to report them. And you're still having these type of problems. Really, Capcom? Really? That's what we're on right now with Street Fighter 5. Okay. But there's more. Remember how many of us had said this game is bad. I showed you even last week. The pros were coming out and was like, this is trash. Look at this online and all this. Okay. And remember I said that the game was really slow. And I was called all types of names. I was called a conspiracy theorist. I was called all these types of names. Okay, well, if I'm a conspiracy theorist, then where do I get these facts? Where do I get all this stuff? Matter of fact, I'm going to let Infiltration tell you. That's right. Infiltration tell you about Street Fighter 5 and why he doesn't like it.
마음에 안 들어요, 솔직히 말하면. 왜냐면은 새로운 유저들을 계속해서 유입시키기 위해서 새로운 변화를 좀 과감하게 도전하는 것 같아요. 처음에 시즌 1까지는 좀 이해했어요. 왜냐면은 원래 4 때부터 3 때부터 잘했던 사람들이 좀 새로 들어온 사람들이랑 이렇게 좀 차이가 너무 많이 나지 않도록 캐주얼하게 만든 것까지는 이해를 하는데 그게 너무 심하니까 정도가. 이게 문제는 뭐냐면은 시즌 1 때 새로 들어왔던 사람들이 시즌 2에서 하기 싫대요, 게임을. 그게 되게 큰 문제라고 봐요. 새로운 사람들이 계속 들어오는 건 좋지만 그럼 시즌 1 때 열심히 충성하고 게임을 재밌게 즐겼던 유저들은 1년 동안 열심히 했는데 캐릭터 버리라는 건가? 라는 그 박탈감이 좀 들어서 그게 제일 문제인 것 같아요, 지금. 캡콤은 게임을 쉽게 만드는 것과 동시에 캡콤 프로투어를 이제 완벽하게 e스포츠화 시키려고 노력하고 있잖아요. 그러면서 캡콤 프로투어에서 열심히 노력한 올드 게이머들을 크게 배려하지 않는 느낌이 있어요. 적어도 캐주얼하게 가려면 그쪽만 좀 잘 신경 쓰던가. 근데 캡콤 프로투어도 함께 하고 그 현장에서 열심히 뛰는 모든 선수들, 플레이어들을 다 배려해야 되는데 캡콤이 원하는 방향으로만 우린 얘네만 신경 쓸 거야 라는 느낌이 좀 있어서 그게 좀 불만이고 캡콤이 아직 생각하는 바가 뭔지 잘 모르겠어요, 좀.
Yeah, we don't know what Capcom is thinking right now because if everyone remembers the history of this going in, remember this game was supposed to be pushed towards casuals. And then Capcom said, oh no, we want this as Pro Tour. So we're going to gut half the fucking game and only give you a little bit of it because of Pro Tour. And then the pro players were like, okay, we're going to be on board. It's because of Pro Tour. A year later, all right, you've got pro players complaining, well, look, we've been working with this, working with characters for a year now, trying to get good for Pro Tour, and yet you're doing all these nerfs and all these problems, and you're catering to the casuals again. Which, mind you, even the casuals were mad when Street Fighter V came out because the game was gutted. Remember, so it goes to show you that Capcom, they're trying to appease two different sides, and they're not appeasing. Actually, both sides are not very happy at all with them. You understand that? So 1 minute Capcom says, this is for the casuals to close the gap. The next they're saying, no, this is Pro Tour. And the pros are like, well, we're not liking this. And the casuals are like, well, we're not liking this. Capcom can't win because you're trying to do too much. That's the problem. You're trying to it's not even about a mass audience at this point. It's not. Okay? Because clearly what you're doing is actually creating friction between established players and newcomers. That's what you're doing by making all these changes consistently. And that's what it is. 1 minute you do something, next minute you don't. Season 2, everyone's upset with Season 2, from pro players down to casual players. And if you don't believe me, after Infiltration said this, then, now, mind you, been calling you for it all year for the media to say something. Now, they start making the articles, don't they? I guess the checks stopped coming in, huh? I'll put it like this. This is where we get to the classism of the FGC, the favoritism of the FGC. For a year, I and many others have told you these exact things that were going on with this game. And yet, we were looked down upon. We were called haters. We were called everything under the book, right? Now, you got top guys coming out and saying this. Now, all of a sudden, okay, he's right. This is legit. This is a problem. You pick and choose who's allowed to say things, which is bullshit, because the truth is the truth regardless who says it. That's how I see it, all right? But I love this header. I do, you know what I mean? I just gotta look at this one more time. It feels slower, okay? These servers, though, okay? And here's the best part. I love this part, all right? This is the best part of it. When's arcade mode? Okay! Remember, you don't need arcade mode, dog. Capcom didn't do nothing. They don't need to follow their standard, dog. You just being a hater. Shots fired. Remember that. Remember that. The pros are even saying this shit. And yet, now everyone's quiet. Everyone's on board now. Yeah, that's what I thought. I told you, it doesn't matter who is saying this shit at all. It doesn't. As long as you can see the bullshit for what it is, the smoke screen for what it is, and get to the truth, and say, look, these are issues that need to be addressed, as opposed to people who are coming out the woodwork who just want to shield so they're known, other fanboys who will back certain people because they like the way they play, so if they say something, they're going to back them 100% regardless of even if they're wrong. That's right. It happens. You have to understand that you have to use your fucking brains. And if you know fighting games, and you know the standards in fighting games, and you know your options in fighting games, and all these type of other things that you've grown up with playing fighting games, and you look at games like Street Fighter V and you say, wait a minute, this is missing, this is missing, this is missing, this is missing. Why should I give you my money? Why did you charge $60 out the gate for this? Come on. Come on. Understand where Capcom... And the thing is, it's not like Capcom denied it either. Capcom admitted they were wrong, and yet people still doubled down for Capcom. They even admitted they was wrong. They apologized. That wasn't enough. No. Capcom shouldn't apologize. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how this is, like I said, because eventually the truth will show. It's just a matter of time. Of course, sometimes it takes longer than others, but this is right there. It's right there in front of you. Now look, like I said before, I don't want to bag on Street Fighter V as much as highlight the problems that it has so that it can get fucking fixed. But nobody wants to hear that. Everything has to be positive. Everything is awesome. Everyone's part of the team. Sunshines and rainbows. There's nothing wrong with it. Capcom did nothing wrong. It's bullshit. You have to understand, every game has flaws. Every game has problems. In order to get a better product, you have to be able to see those negative things so that they're fixed, so that you have quality assurance. I forgot, that's not a thing when it comes to video games these days, because people get so fucking hype and become so fucking fans of stuff, and like I said, then you got the shills egging it on. It gets lost. This is why I keep telling you, be careful of who you listen to. Like I said, I always back everything up with facts, don't I? I give you the links, I show you the screens, I show you the videos, come on. But when I do this, apparently it's a problem. Nothing but a troublemaker. Anyways, let's get on to this week's fighting game of the week. That's right. For those who don't remember, this game, and we have to talk about this, was for the Xbox 360. However, the game never came over to the States, which was kind of sad. That's right. It actually stayed over in Japan. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, let's talk about Golden Fantasia X. Now you're probably watching that and you're like, there's just another waifu fighter, who cares? You have to understand that this game came out in, 2010? So the term waifu fighter really wasn't around that much, but if that's the case, you might as well go back to times like Ranma Half and call it waifu fighter. The fact is, this game never got a chance to get as big as it deserves to get. And the fact that it deserves to be in a competitive scene, I feel as though it does. So, does this game deserve a remake? Doesn't look that dated, really. I mean, of course you're probably going to say you want an HD version of it because every other game is getting an HD version of it for the new consoles, this new generation. So I guess I can understand that. Overall, I don't see the problem with this game, and I feel as though it deserves its due. So yeah, I'm for it. You know what I mean? I played this. For those who have not played it, by all means, please get a chance to play it. Like I said, it's just one of those games that, before you had your Dengekis and all that, this is what it was. And it's kind of sad that it just didn't get, didn't receive the fanfare, that it did. I don't understand that. It's kind of sad, actually. But, speaking of waifus, I guess we can move on, all right? Metroid. That's right, you Metroid fans. you people who love to do speed runs, who love to run through the games in general, who are just fans of Metroids and the puzzles and the levels, I will put it like this. Metroid Rouge Dawn is coming. That's right. Actually, it's already been released. It's the unofficial prequel to the original Metroid game. That's right. So, for those who are big fans of Metroid, have at it. Now, let's move on to Swery 65. We need to talk about him for a minute, because for those who don't know, he is coming back to gaming. That's right. And opens a new studio. Now, for what we've known about this, Swery 65 had retired not too long ago because of an illness. And it's good to see that he's coming back. You know what I mean? So congratulations to him. I wish him, the best of endeavors. And I feel like this, you gotta think, this guy was responsible for D, and was it, Deadly Premonition, which is, Deadly Premonition. But still, either way, you don't want to lose quality developers, especially, you don't want to see any developers go out like that over sickness or something like that. I mean, even though a lot of people don't like Ono, I don't like Ono, but it doesn't mean I want to see the guy so sick that he has to stop and die. Remember, we saw it before. He had to take time out. He was in the hospital because he was working so hard. He got sick, and it was like, wow, that's not good to see. You know what I mean? That's not good to see. So, like I said, your quality developers you always want to keep around. Now, the developers who want to act like pieces of shit, I don't care what happens to them. They can go the way to Dodo Bird. They can shut down. They can close down. They can be gone forever, for as I care. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just really this Hollywood phase, the developer / director, has ego it's exploded too much for me. It just has. You can't tell me you make a shitty game and then you're going to turn around and curse people out as a developer. Like, I can't see that. You know what I mean? I just can't. So, as far as I'm concerned, the quality developers really need to stay around, especially when they put in hard work and they have a dedicated fan base, and their fan base grows every day. They're always welcome. You know what I mean? Let's move on. Let's talk about Blizzard, shall we? Blizzard bans 10,000 Overwatch nuking cheaters in South Korea. The only thing I really have to say about that is, stop cheating. Stop cheating. That's all you gotta do. Stop cheating. It won't be a problem, right? Stop cheating. Anyways. Let's move on. I said I want to talk about Nintendo Switch. We're going to talk about Nintendo Switch. Alright? We need to talk about this. Nintendo Switch. Nintendo. I don't know what you were thinking. I don't. And what I mean by this is, mind you, I told you years ago that the Nintendo Switch was coming. I told you that people wanted a console that you could just pick up a console and just take it on the go and then come back to it as a console. We talked about this before the Wii U era, right? So for years I've been talking about this. Now it's here. Like I said, love the concept. I see a lot of people who bag on Nintendo for their graphics. It's not as strong as the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. I wouldn't expect it to be. Do you understand how much you have to downgrade and bump down in graphics from going from a console to a handheld? And let's be honest here. If it's mobile, it is a handheld. I'm not trying to hear that, Nintendo's trying to say, this isn't going to replace the 3DS. That was the entire point. That's the entire point. Being able to take it on the go, play it, and then come back and be like, you know what? I can just put it back in my console if I need to. So yeah, it should replace the 3DS. That's the entire point. To have the best of both worlds in one system. That's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. Mind you, I told you this was supposed to happen before the Wii U, and Nintendo showed the blueprints years later, and then said, well, we got kind of scared about it, so this is what we do with the Wii U, as opposed to the Switch. Now that the Switch is here, like I said, I've been on top of this the entire time. Okay? But Nintendo, what I've seen you do when you had this little announcement or whatever, because I didn't watch it at first, they're going to have an announcement, and all you on Twitter were like, are you watching it? And I was like, nah, bro, I'm sitting here watching House of Cards. I'm not watching that, because I know I'm going to be disappointed. And what I meant by disappointed, it's the add-ons that Nintendo is going to throw at you. The prices for this is crazy. Did you not learn from the Wii era? Seriously, Nintendo, when you were charging $50, $60, $70, $80 Pro controllers, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with these add-ons? People are sick of these type of add-ons. Do you understand this, Nintendo? Look, we can go back as far as the Wii, and you can see the ridiculous add-ons that they had. Wii tennis rackets, Wii boxing gloves and everything. They tried to get people as much as possible on that motion control kick, alright, and just different add-ons to get you to buy this stuff. And Nintendo hasn't learned. You gotta think, the Wii U, and the Switch, you're still having these overpriced add-ons when the market is not calling for that whatsoever. You have not learned your lesson. Someone please tell me, who in these days are still using a Wii tennis racket? Who? I want to know. Seriously, these things become shovelware over time. That's it. People get rid of them. It's bad enough that gamers trade in their games. You think they're not going to try and trade in the hardware, or should I say the pieces of plastic, the hunks of plastic as fast as possible? You ever see what happened to Rock Band and Guitar Hero? Go to your latest GameStop. You'll still find this shit hanging up there. It's used, but you can buy it for super cheap. Yeah, because don't nobody want the shit. You have to understand that Nintendo has not learned their pricing game yet. The market is not, they're not for this. So when you have all these add-ons and you bring out such high prices for them, it's crazy. So if you think about it, the console costs $300, right? You buy a game, let's say Zelda. Zelda looks good for the Nintendo Switch. All right, you buy Zelda, all right? Then you got to buy your add-ons. You're looking at around $350, maybe not even more than that, $400, $450 just to get started. Just to get started. And then you have, what? The PlayStation 4 bundles with games that come with everything for like $250, $300. Same thing with the Xbox One. And it's stronger than the Switch. And it has a dedicated library as opposed to the startup that the Switch is having. So, as a consumer, which one are you really going for? You know what I mean? Now here's the thing as well. Nintendo, you can't get on too much about their launch lineup too much because, as you know, games take time to make, and it's going to take a while for them to get their stuff. So you can't get too much. So you got your Zelda. It looks good. I'm sure people are going to buy Mario. I believe Persona's coming for it. So there's a couple of things that are coming out for Nintendo that will probably help them. However, Nintendo, you're still going about this pricing wrong. You are taking a hit. You need to drop your prices in order to stay competitive. And when you go over to Nintendo of America's Twitter, all right, idiots in the mentions, and this is what I mean, idiots who want attention. And we're not talking fanboys. No. We're not talking people who are genuinely believe that the Switch is going to be the next big thing. Not talking about that, okay? We're talking about idiots. I don't know if they were paid to do this, or they just, like I said, just wanted attention, but they're taking selfies of themselves at GameStop. And they're like, I pre-ordered Nintendo Switch. And they take a selfie at them at GameStop. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you didn't show us the receipt that you pre-ordered the fucking game. No, it's just a selfie of you in GameStop. You could be doing anything there. You could have just walked into GameStop and said, selfie, I'm leaving. And I'm going to put this on Twitter for attention. That's what you could have did. And you sent it to Nintendo, and you really thought that Nintendo was going to give a damn, didn't you? I don't understand this. I don't. It's crazy. If you believe in the Switch, that's fine. I'm not going to get on you for believing the Switch. I'm not even going to sit here and talk about resolution and all that type of stuff, because as far as I'm concerned, like I said, when you're going from console to handheld, you're going to have to take a hit somewhere. You're going to have to. All right? It's not going to be consistent. There's no way it's going to happen, okay? But people who clearly do not give a shit about what's going on, and they feel as though this is a trending topic, let me try and piggyback it for attention on Twitter, there's something fucking wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. Anyways, let's move on. Nintendo, please drop those prices if you want to see some type of... You've got to be kidding me. And I'm sure we're going to see the Switch shortage as well, right? We're going to see that as well? We're going to see that? You know, well, we have a shortage of Switch, so everyone's going to go crazy over it. Yeah, just like you did with the Wii, just like you did with the Wii U, just like you did with the Amiibos not too long ago, and now this. We know your blueprint. Like I said, Nintendo, you're not slick. You're not sly. Seriously. I don't understand what Nintendo was thinking. I just don't. I don't. This was a bad announcement. I mean, you're bringing Xenoblade Chronicles Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to the Switch, which is a good thing. But like I said, when you look at these prices, you look at what they're bringing, technically the Wii U was looking better and better. I mean, how many people are going to keep asking, when's Smash coming? When's Smash coming? Yep. If anything, if you'd asked me, that should have been on your launch lineup. Just saying, it should have been. But let's move on, shall we? Last week I asked you guys and girls if you wanted me to start, having more segments dedicated to demos that I play. And we talked about Nier Automata, right? And you guys and girls in the comment section said, yeah, we'd like to hear more. That's fine. So, okay, this week, this was the game I played. Now, let me say, coming off of Nier Automata and then going to Gravity Rush 2, spectacular. It felt like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? It felt like I consistently transitioned, but the worlds were so vastly different, so vibrant, so colorful. So we'll talk about, as usual in context. A lot of, the environments in general, very nice. Destructible environments, which was a plus. giving us the tutorial on if you start on a beginner mode and then work your way up to hard. Some people just went straight to the very hard, and they didn't give you no tutorial. But giving the tutorial, they gave you so I played all the versions of it. The tutorial part was really nice. I like the fact that the crowd is very interactive when you're walking through the towns. Hopefully that's in the entire game. I mean, literally, you bump into characters and they turn and look at you like, what you bump into me for? There's times you can bump into people and make them drop stuff. When you decide to gravitate, levitate off the ground, if you're around people, you also, I took pictures on Twitter and showed you, you also levitate people around you, so it's an area of effect more than it is just you. Going from upside down and inside out and things of that nature when it comes to, gravity and pulling you towards certain objects, I really found really fun. I cannot wait to see what the rest of these worlds have to offer. I'm sure they're going to give us worlds that are sideways and upside down and stuff like that, and just bend reality where you just have to keep moving. Those are the types of games I really like. I'm sure people remember that a little bit from Symphony of the Night, but it was 2D. This is a larger scale of 3D. Combat for me was really fun. I mean, of course, you got your, you can just spam your attack button, or you can use your gravity senses to pick up items and throw them at enemies, or actually do special moves and attacks in midair and chain link combos in midair, towards other enemies. I feel as though that was a great thing to see. I feel as though this game, and there's something about it, this game I feel should be wildly successful, but I feel as though it's not going to be. I feel as though it's going to fly under the radar. And I don't know why I feel that way, but for some reason, I feel as though this is one of the games that developers worked really hard at, and to give you a great experience, and it's going to go underappreciated. For some reason, I just feel that way. I don't know why. I enjoyed the shit out of this demo. And you know what? I really have a problem. I'm definitely getting this game because I need payback. I'll be damned if that seagull is going to take my churro and fly away. Now I gotta try to catch it, and it gets away. You're going to pay with your life, seagull. But, yeah. Like I said, the game, for what I've seen so far, what I've played so far, and for what I've seen, looks spectacular. This is another game in the lineup that I feel as though deserves the credit. Like I said, Nier Automata, on its own merit, depending on that, given that world, the confines, great. Gravity Rush 2, given the confines of that world, what they do and how open, and be able to explore throughout the entire town. I mean, seriously, you can gravitate all the way up to the top of the buildings if you want, go back and forth. Great. It was a great demo. You know what I mean? There were times, I will say, right at the beginning, when they bring you over into the town. As soon as they start you, right there, there's steps. They want you to go down. But there's a pathway to the left where you can go backwards into the rest of the town. They do not let you go that way, which was kind of interesting until you went through the tutorial. You know what I mean? Really interesting stuff. But by all means, I feel as though this game has a lot of charm. It has a lot of personality. It feels like there's a lot of hard work that went into this game, and this is one of those games that deserves credit. You know what I mean? So I can't wait for Gravity Rush 2 to come out. I can't wait for Nier Automata to come out. I've enjoyed both demos thoroughly. You know what I mean? And that's what you look forward to as a gamer. You know what I mean? Opening up your imagination, opening up, it's like you keep hearing these things about how women in video games are being objectified, and oh my God, they don't have enough lead roles. 2 weeks back to back, I played 2 great demos, which will be great games with women as the lead. You want to get off that misogyny train now? Do you? Anyways, let's move on. Next week's demo, I really want to play. Apparently, because when I went on there, I went to get some demos to see what was going on. Nioh. That's right. As you know, Nioh, for those who don't know, I should say, Last Chance demo is coming. It's available the 21st to the 22nd. It's weird because in this article, which I'll put in the info bar, I talk about how it's available now. I'm like, wait a minute. You just said the 21st and the 22nd, but it's available now. I don't understand that. But whatever. All right. However, I will say this, okay? Nioh, I've seen other people play it. I haven't played it myself. That's why I really want to play it. Dark Souls-ish, as they're saying, but it's more of a samurai feeling. You're talking to the Shogun, so the samurai thing, that's my thing, you know what I mean? Definitely going to be on that, on that demo. Definitely going to get the game. However, I'm kind of torn with Nioh, because let's talk about this. I said I'd talk about it earlier. Let's talk about it. Season Pass. Yeah. I have a problem with this having a Season Pass. I know a lot of people are hyped for this game. They're saying, yeah, we're getting a Season Pass. That means we're going to get great content. I've always said with Season Passes, look, if you give us DLC, if it's to an almost expansion type, I'm for it. Because you're putting a lot of hard work to that DLC that was expansive to that world. You know what I mean? But if you're going to nickel and dime us and then turn around and say season pass, if you go back, because people keep asking me why I don't like season passes. If you go back, if you look last year, how many games had a season pass? Count the many games that had a season pass and how much those season passes were. As opposed to the games that you bought, all right? Games that you bought. And they all had season passes. How would you be able to afford all the stuff? How would you be able to get all the content? You wouldn't be able to. Sometimes you got to wait for a Game of the Year edition, don't you? Which then you're late to the game, but if you have a backlog, it's not going to matter, right? Every game these days seems to be killing you with DLC or season passes or microtransactions. And it seems like you can never get your full game. Never. It's a problem. So yes, I don't like season passes. This game, Nioh, look, for what I've seen in this game, I'm already on board with it. Okay? I feel it's going to be a great game. However, when you start hitting us with season, the game's not even out yet and you're already saying a season pass. Like, come on. Seriously, that's fucking ridiculous. However, I cannot wait to get my hands on this demo. I will be playing it. I cannot wait because as far as I'm concerned, this game, I really want to get into this game. I really want to dig deep in this game. Just like I said, I want to get Dark Souls 3. I will be getting Dark Souls 3. Now that I got, PS4, thanks to my sponsor, I will be getting Dark Souls 3. I got Demon Souls, I got Dark Souls 1 and 2. It would only be right for me to get Dark Souls 3 to complete the collection, right? Only right. Anyways, let's move on. That's right. Danganronpa, that's right. Another episode is coming to the PS4 in summer of 2017. For those who are, interested in that. Also, Resident Evil 7 free DLC launches this spring. Now, we need to talk about this because a lot of you guys and girls have been asking me on Twitter, have you seen the Resident Evil spoilers? Did you see the ending spoilers? No, I haven't. I've even went online and I've seen it big as day. Resident Evil spoilers, ending spoilers. I'm avoiding it. I really am. I have that demo too and I haven't played it. But, I mean, what's the point of playing that demo if it doesn't, if it's not going to be anything like the real game, right? But I still have the demo, so I am going to play it. But, yeah. But, seriously, already the spoilers are being brought out. It seems that people are laughing at it, so I don't know how bad these spoilers are. But they're like, this game is not worth it. I see other people asking the public, will this game be worth it? Because they know, not only do we already know what the story is, pretty much taken from Silent Hill 2, but now that the spoilers are out of the game, people are laughing and they're saying this is a joke. I don't know. Like I said, I can't judge yet because I haven't seen any of it. I can't judge. All I'm saying is, heed the signs, heed the warnings. The spoilers are out. If you do not want to know the spoilers, try and stay away from them as much as possible. Right now I'm avoiding them, but something tells me I'm going to end up looking at them anyway. You know what I mean? Because I don't expect to get Resident Evil. Like, if I get Resident Evil 7, I'm not going to get it right away. You know what I mean? So by the time I get it, everyone's already going to complete the game anyway. So it doesn't really matter, right? Let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about EA and their bullshit, shall we? Okay. EA. Nintendo forces us to think differently. Really, EA? They're forcing you to think differently. As in how? As in just abandon them altogether like you did with the Wii U? As in, now we're on board. And they want us to think differently because of the control scheme. Oh, you mean like how you did with the Wii? I don't know how they're forcing anybody to think differently. We're going to try to appease people by having a certain option, on the console as opposed to when they go mobile. Is that what you're going to do? I'm wondering, EA, because you had a chance to keep up with the Joneses at the Wii era, all right, and use both screens, but you didn't do that because you didn't give a shit. Now all of a sudden you want to act like you care. EA, like I said, you haven't been able to think differently since 2009, all right? Let's get rid of, let's make pre-owned passes. Let's make our own network. Let's get Origins going. EA, everything you have done since 2009 has been a train wreck. I should say the latter half of 2009. Beginning half wasn't too bad. Mid half, the latter half, though, really bad. And then you've just been on a just train wreck ever since. I don't know why you keep coming out and saying this. I guess you're just going to keep doing these media press, these interviews and everything, these press releases to show that you are backing Nintendo. But as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen anything that's very promising from you. I haven't. You just keep talking a good game. That's what all you're doing right now. How long did it take you to confirm that you were in Nintendo's corner? How long did it take you? Okay. EA, like Capcom, is one of those companies where you just don't trust anything they say until you see it. It's one of those put up or shut up moments. And every time EA says something, I'm just like, fuck off. Fuck off. Until you have something to bring to the table, until you show that you give a damn about the games that you're making, and that you're listening to the community, I don't want to hear shit from you. I don't. You keep coming out and, yes, Nintendo. That doesn't mean anything. No one's going to forget what you did last generation with Nintendo with the Wii U. Nobody will forget that. Should we talk about FIFA again? No. How you gave them the same game twice? And then said, well, they didn't deserve, pretty much, the updated version? Okay. The next annual version? They didn't just give them the same game twice? Okay. Don't want to hear it. And in bigger news. That's right, people. For those who don't know. Now, this article, I've read this article. It's really weird, all right? 128 million console gamers are set to leave the market. 128 million. Now, of course, this article is nothing but charts showing you year by year by year how, the market has fluctuated up and down, up and down. 128 million, if the math is correct. That's a lot of people. Now, of course, the author says that they don't know if they're going to go the way of the PC. They don't know if they're going to go the way of just Netflix. Just stop playing games altogether. It should be a good indicator that people, and they said some people are still playing, maybe they're still playing their PS3 or 360. They're not buying into the new generation. We talked about that before, haven't we? It was too soon. And now you have these mid-generation consoles. So, and as we know, apparently there's reported problems that they're getting ready to pretty much phase out the vanilla versions of those consoles. That certain games don't play very well on the vanilla version of those consoles. Hello, Last Guardian. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, all right, when it comes, like I said, the companies are killing themselves. Now, of course, when these stats, they're pretty staggering when you look at these charts. But will this end console gaming? No. Even the author says, what's the fate of the of console gaming? Because they make it seem like 128 million people are going, oh my God, it's in a rut, it's going to get hurt. And then it says, no, there's no problem with it, because nobody knows. No one knows if the market's going to bounce back. Nobody knows if something big is going to come along and really get people to buy into the new generation of consoles. But the fact that 128 million gamers are not sold on the console generation, maybe, like I said, I think someone's getting the message. I think the message has been sent. Mid-console generations, and I can just get a PC for cheaper than this, and yeah, man, this is not looking well. It's not. All right? They're in a rut right now. Especially, like I said, especially when at their inception, you gotta think, you didn't even have really any games for the Xbox One or the PS4. So they just keep HDing up the stuff they have from the PS3 and the Xbox 360. So they were really hurting for a very long time. I'm sure that had something to do with it too. I don't know. But for everyone who keeps thinking that these companies are hurting for money, that you should still, pay for online and stuff like that, that's funny, because if Sony's hurting for money, I want to know then why are they taking your hard-earned money? Because you pay for online, the very online that still gets hacked to hell, that still doesn't, help you as a gamer because of all the lag and stuff like that. But the money that you're giving them is not even going back into the fucking games. No, instead, Sony decided to have their own PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. That's right, football. So fanboys, please tell me again, Sony is just hurting for money. The PlayStation brand is sinking, and they need so much money. Please tell me that when they're spending it on college football games. You serious? You're serious? And I guess Nintendo's going to get in that boat too, since, they want you to pay for online subscriptions as well. Because they see Xbox doing it, they see Microsoft and Sony doing it, so why wouldn't they get into it? It's going to be to a point where Nintendo is going to have their own Nintendo Bowl when it comes to college football teams. Come on. I think that the money is getting spread way too thin at this point. Way too thin. Here's the thing, alright, Sony. You had the Fiesta Bowl, okay? You did the Fiesta Bowl, the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. When's the last time you came out with a college football game? I'm just wondering. Well, EA isn't making them anymore. Oh, so you're going to rely on the third-party developer to make them instead of yourself, since you're giving them money to the Fiesta Bowl. All business, right? God, I don't ever want to hear that Sony's hurting for money. I don't ever want to hear the justification for PSN being charged. All right, because remember, they were against Microsoft. But, of course, people who bought Xbox, they were still, they thought that was a thing when you were still doing peer-to-peer. It was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. You were paying for peer-to-peer when you were already paying for online. You didn't even have dedicated service at the time. But Sony saw that Microsoft was making money off of it and said, well, we want to get on too. Now, Nintendo, same way. Well, our online, we know how bad Nintendo's online was. But they're going to follow suit. Well, Microsoft is doing it. Sony's doing it. Why can't we get in on it? And you can't blame anyone but the gamers for falling for it. You can't even blame, like I said, you're paying for networks that have no guarantee. Your information can be compromised. Games that you bought can be pulled off the network. We just saw that last week. Online play for certain games, their contract is 3 to 6 months and then they can get rid of it. You gotta read your fine print on that. It's sad. It's sad to see. These companies will keep doing this. They will. And you will keep eating it up. They keep saying 3 to 6 months because they think, well, if you look at the statistics, gamers trade in their games from 3 to 6 months. The average, the casual gamer. And put it towards another game. So they roll with what the gamers do. So you really got to look at the community and say, okay, this is the community at fault. You do. For buying into the bullshit and then keeping it going. Instead of saying, no, that's it, that's enough. So, yeah, like I said, between paying online, season passes, DLC, microtransactions, paying for the product when it comes to $60 a pop, then you got your Ultimate Editions that come out that you got to pay $100 for because, they're hiding 9 characters. You've got to be kidding me. Not to mention editions where you pay for shit and you don't even get the game with it. Yeah, remember that? Mm-hmm. And you just go back and you look at all the things that they're getting you on. Not to mention add-ons for controllers and stuff. Look how they're getting you. That's money. I believe this. People who are okay with this shit, it's clear you don't have any fucking bills or any responsibility. I have to say that. Because if you have bills, responsibility, taking care of people, you're looking at these things and you're saying, holy shit, this is really adding up. And can I afford to keep doing this? That's what it is. So now you got to look for deals, right? That's what you got to do. Besides, every game that's hyped up to the moon, as we know, won't live up to the second coming. So you're probably going to wait anyway for these games to, a couple months down the line where they'll drop down. Oh, it was $60 this month. Now a couple months later, $20. You know what I mean? It's a never-ending cycle of bullshit. And it seems like people still haven't got it yet. I just don't understand how people can be on board. You know what I mean? Like, on board with doing this so much. Like, I saw with Sony. They want you to pay, what, $11, $12 a month for online? Really? That's how much you want to pay? Okay, I'll just go online, and I'll go get one of those things where you pay, what, $18 for 3 months of online. Dollars and cents. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? If I really want to play online. I'm just not a big believer on how they are getting you. I feel as though it's a scam. I feel as though it is. Like I said, quality content, I am for. I'm for that completely. Quality content. Alright? But if you're just going to bullshit us with these little things, oh, well, you can get this costume here, you can get that there. That shit should be unlockable. You shouldn't even have to pay for that. Work hard to get that shit. You know what I mean? That shouldn't even be hidden behind, hiding behind a paywall. But they still do it. And I think people tend to forget that. Like I said, we can go back and say, oh, well, it's the old days. No, it's not. It's the old days. That was the standard. Then they decided to bastardize it, and people just took it and ran with it, and then justified and said, this is how things are these days. No, didn't have to be. You chose to do it. You chose to accept it. There's a difference. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Disgusting. It just is. It's just the news. It's really bad. But I will say I'm pretty happy that, the Street Fighter V thing has come full circle now. Like I said, if you still like Street Fighter V, by all means, play it. Have fun. You know what I mean? But to see that now the pros are coming out. Now it's the gospel because the pros have come out. I've been saying this all along, and others have said it all along. It's amazing. It's amazing. But still, Capcom didn't do nothing, dog. First day on the job. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good weekend. Go out and try to have some fun. Talk to you then. I'm out.